Hello, I'm Jan Mulvey and you're watching the Redmen TV.
Chris, you've had a chance to look into some of the statistics behind Liverpool's appearances with Chelsea in cups. You've done a very special stat attack to that end, haven't you?
I have.
So let's go and see what Chris has unearthed in our FA Cup Chelsea past.
Get in, we're in the final of the FA Cup against Chelsea FC. So let's look at how we fared against them over the years in the FA Cup. We've played them 9 times, we've only won 4 and we've lost 5 unfortunately. We've scored only 15 and conceded 19 goals. Thankfully though, after some extensive research, I have found our silver lining. Yes, you can all thank me later. At a neutral venue, we've played 2 and we've won both of them, scoring 4 and conceding just 1. Anyway, since Mourinho's left, we've been good against Chelsea, winning our last 4, scoring 7 and conceding just 1. Although Nando did score 2 of them and Morales 1.
Excellent work, mate. I like the way that you dragged us down to the depths and then brought us back with a nice little bit of positivity. So essentially, the form stands with us if we're playing them on neutral territory.
Yeah, we're 2-0 up.
Excellent. Looking a little towards Chelsea, obviously they're sort of talk of the town at the minute.
Yeah.
Having made the Champions League final, and obviously Di Matteo's come in off the back of AVB. I mean, what have you made of Di Matteo's time so far in China?
I think he's just done well. If AVB was brought in to modernise the team, bring in new players, I think Di Matteo's just gone right. I'm just going to bring in all the players who were being rested and rotated earlier on the season, start playing them. And if anyone's criticising him, I think they're overlooking the fact that if he's been resting players and they're coming good during the run-in, it's a massive boost to the team that AVB has helped them out with.
Yeah, I think Robertson said he's gone back to the old guard, hasn't he? He's put the faith back in the likes of Drogba and Lampard and Terry and that.
He stabilised the dressing room. I mean, we don't know, but it seemed like there was some sort of chaos going on back there, wasn't there? In that there was a revolution of sorts. They had, regardless of what people think of AVB, that he just wasn't gelling with those senior pros, and they was causing pandemonium. And Di Matteo's just simply, he's just simply poured cold water on the situation. And at the end of the day, they've got a squad full of really, really good players. Yeah. And we're being reminded of it. It's horrible, actually. Because earlier in the season, they looked like real mugs. Yeah. When we beat them twice, you thought, geez, guys, how have we gone from being, we're not brilliant yet, but we're easily as good as them. Yeah. Maybe on the edge of being better. And now I'm scratching, thinking, shit. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, what they've got, and it's in some respects it's similar to what Man United have got. They've got a lot of very old. They've got a lot of old, experienced, quality professionals, Chris. And you can when in one-off games, big games, you can turn to them and they'll do a job.
Well, they're experienced. They've been there. They've won it essentially, haven't they?
Not the Champions League,
thankfully. But every great side has good senior players, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And Chelsea have got a lot of good senior players, Lampard, Drogba. Fortunately enough to come to the end of their career. I don't think Di Matteo is the right man to restructure that club.
No.
AVB may well have been, had he been given the chance, but it's a bloody big job. It's like Kenny Dalglish when he left Liverpool the first time around. That was an ageing squad who pretty much dominated, and that was a huge task for Souness to turn it around. And I don't know whether Di Matteo's the man
and the less said about Souness's attempts to turn that squad around. No, I mean, for me that's very much the thing, and I get the impression, and I don't know if there's going to be any Chelsea fans watching. I'm sure you'll give us up the banks on the comment section below. But Di Matteo's almost just like, it's almost like a puppet man in many respects. You know what I mean? We know,
it was like
in 2008.
We know, everyone knows where the power in that squad lies, and it lies with Terry, Lampard and Drogba.
Yeah. The truth is, we get very caught up on it. It's a big bugbear of mine, cult of the manager. I remember, I sort of grew up with 80s football when Bob Paisley was there. And you didn't talk about or think about the manager a great deal. You knew you had leaders on the pitch, and it was much more about those guys. And it's not wrong that it should be that way either. People are very much now. You had a personality manager like Brian Clough. We got used to Mourinho and Ferguson seen as this dark overlord of everything that was there. But sometimes you've got good professionals who can manage themselves on a pitch. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw it. Why people like why did Avram Grant nearly become the most successful manager in their history? With
not won
two kicks away. Di Matteo could become you've got all kinds of anomalies like Alan Pardew in Newcastle could suddenly be, you know, on paper if he was, I hate to really use a cliche, but if he was Alan Pardew from Spain, we'd be acclaiming him. I'm sorry, we just would.
Yeah.
You know, it's, you know, the signings, the achievement.
It takes someone to point out that he played Hayden Mullins over Javier Mascherano in centre midfield, and he was
Well, exactly. And they're going to be shit next season because he's rubbish.
Yeah.
But there you go. And Di Matteo will never manage at the top level again when he gets replaced. I'm quite sure of that.
These, I mean, obviously you're well used to making these sort of bold statements on the Anfield Wrap, so you know that these all
Bullshit,
remain. They remain out there forever and ever and ever and ever, and so people use them as lengths of rope in the future to hang it on. Like,
bring it on.
yeah. One of the things that's made the press big time with regards to Chelsea, we'll go to you, Chris, on this, because I know it's been pissing you off, was that people called that game against Barcelona like the greatest game in Champions League
Jamie
history.
fucking Redknapp of all people saying that's the greatest game in Champions League history.
The Cockney in him, that little Frankie, his cousin there, gotta give him the fucking bifters, hasn't he? Like, you know.
I think it's just being there on the night, though, isn't it? It's like, you know, a lot of people would talk about Suarez hat-trick yesterday. You know, every good hat-trick you've ever seen, that might be the best hat-trick I've ever seen. You know, and actually, that probably was.
When he finishes it with a 45 yards.
Notwithstanding that was the best hat-trick we've ever seen.
Yeah.
But you do think that, and I think in that moment, they just get carried away with it. I think in the cool light of day, the next day, there's no excuse for hailing that Chelsea performance. Yeah. I mean, you know, there's a lot of those sort of... What about us against Chelsea in fucking 2005?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
I was going to the new camp as well. Like, you know what I mean? Craig Bellamy with his golf club goals and all that. Like,
Johnny Reese is scoring with his right foot.
Yeah. It's not like
Chelsea. Where's the praise for that, Redknapp?
It's not like Chelsea are a load of bums, are they? I mean, they're what, 400 million assembled with a 50 million striker on the fucking bench.
Wasn't this the point you made? I think you made this point on Twitter, didn't you? Yeah, on that day of Twitter, you said something on the lines of like, "Oh, the poor underdogs who've assembled their their petrochemical fueled multi-billion-pound footballing."
Just because they played like minnows with a back. I tell you what. That backs to the wall performance, any manner of team on its defensive day could have put in that performance. Yeah. It was not special.
It was Stoke, wasn't it? It was Stoke performance. It was
Tony Pulis. Tony Pulis could that. Yeah. You're that negative against a Barcelona who were beginning to run out of ideas and steam. It wasn't remarkable. It wasn't like they. You know, if they come out a bit more, created 3 or 4 chances, they created nothing in the entire game.
This is it. The Torres goal is a goal that you score against a desperate team, throwing absolutely everything at you. It's
seconds to go.
It's Babel against Arsenal.
Yeah, and the Ramirez goal in the context of that game was not a fluke, isn't it? They're 2-0 down.
I think they've got.
I mean, take nothing away from the finish, like
I
know, but still. But you've got to. For it not to be a fluke, you've got to have got yourself into that position once, twice. There has to be a plan which says, look, we'll suck them in. I don't know.
I just think Barcelona scored a second. Terry's off, and they've thought it's half time. This is it. We're 2-0 up against 10 men. We've got a whole second half to make it 5 or 6, and then he's just one ball.
Barcelona are shit though, aren't they?
They are rubbish. And if Chelsea don't score, then there's no way. There's no coming back for them.
Yeah,
it's that they had to have that moment in time.
Now the big question, of course, off the back of that, and everyone's been trying to desperately scrabble around for silver linings to take from the fact that Chelsea are going to be in the Champions League final, is that there's this idea that they're going to have one eye on the Champions League final. I mean, Dave, what do you reckon? Is this just us trying to find something that we can hang on to, or do you honestly think, I mean, is it the kind of thing that the FA Cup would pale into insignificance by comparison to?
Despite the FA's best efforts to overshadow the FA Cup final by putting it on at a stupid kick-off time, stopping
in the middle of the season.
Other teams playing.
Yeah, and I still think that it's an FA Cup final, and if you're a footballer and you can't get up for an FA Cup final, then there's something wrong.
I agree with you, but go out there and put a couple of tasty challenges on a Frank Lampard and a Drogba, who's probably last Champions League final they might ever get to.
I agree with you, Chris, on this one. Get
Carragher in there, take a yellow card,
Take
put
it
the
off.
shit,
Yeah.
put the shits up.
Because they'll be thinking, I don't want to go in for a hefty challenge because I don't want to miss. I don't want to miss
my
Munich.
career.
Well,
Yeah.
this is it, Rob, isn't it? Is that, you know, look at Liverpool's preparation for the cup final, and it was the same for the semi-final. You can see the players. You can see the likes of Gerrard doesn't want to get into because he knows that it's probably it could hopefully not. Hopefully we're back here next year.
Yeah.
But it could be at that age, you post 30. The odds of you getting into finals get less and less as you get older. And there must be a thinking there where, like as Chris says, if someone starts throwing in tasty tackles, Frank Lampard's going to think, fuck this, because FA Cup finals I come and go.
That and a £1 million bonus for winning the Champions League.
Yeah.
There's a lot of swings and roundabouts in this, and tempting fate is a horrible feeling here, but they have got Terry, Ramirez, Ivanovic, Mireles, who all aren't playing in that final. So there's 4 who are going to die.
Leave them alone.
Ivanovic is missing the final, by the way.
Well,
He's missing it.
He
will. No, the Champions League.
Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah, Jeff Shreve's masterpiece.
What a tit.
Yeah.
Well, then again, we all know how, you know, those tasty challenges that Morelos puts in, you know, that,
Yes, yeah, there's that, yeah.
He must love London to go because he couldn't have got away with that haircut in Liverpool. Could he? That's
When he came out, and everyone was like, who the fuck's that in the
Came out, yes, he did, didn't he?
Who the fuck's that? I thought Morelos was bald.
Who is that and what's that on his head? Like, he looks like he's gone for the sort of the cheap option of him. Yeah. He's gone for he's got a half price discount on Rooney's hair plugs. Like,
If you've got hair, why would you have a John Joe?
it's thing. Well, maybe just aerodynamicism.
Yeah, maybe.
One of them.
Maybe.
Anyway.
Flaccid mohawk.
Oh god, that's pathetic.
fucking
Like,
rubbish.
it is pubes on his head.
But I think I'm clinging to what you're saying as well, Chris. That you know, in the small details, they're 1% short motivationally. That maybe we want it that bit more. And there's no doubt, you know, the FA Cup is massive, but is one thing that makes it pale, and that's the Champions League final. And you just pray to God. But against that, though, is there a team confident on a roll, relaxed, playing big games, keeping a rhythm going? It's like United when they were going for that treble in '99. You kept thinking they'd trip up, but it actually helped them playing those top games time and time again.
It sort of grows exponentially, doesn't it? Like, you know,
Confidence.
It's like, I mean, look at it again. It's that thing of us in 2009 when we got that mentality of scoring goals late and all that kind of stuff. You get into your stride, don't you? And there's a fear factor that goes with the opposition as well. Now, hopefully that doesn't happen, because I've got a real worry that they're gonna do exactly what they did against Barcelona. If they turn up and park the bus at Wembley, we're fucking could be in a spot of honour.
They'll come on to us. We just got to hope that they don't hit a few worldies like Sturridge did the first minute today, 45 seconds in, and a ridiculous goal. That's what you don't want, is they got that kind of quality.
And we'd rather like to see the Fernando Torres of last season.
the last 18 months rather than this
But
week.
the last week.
That script being written, but
it's funny though, because it's what happened, didn't it, just before he left us. He gets up at key times of the season, like to, you know, makes his move, and now he's playing for a final, isn't he? So
I think they'll be saying similar things. They know Liverpool are a team that can deal with these situations as well. We have got, you know, we all moan like hell about that, but quietly we are a team who are experienced. You know, it helped Rafa in 2005 that the team was experienced from the UEFA Cup and the Champions League with Hule. It's helping Kenny now that there is experience in that squad that has got through finals and semis.
I think obviously it's just touched upon there. Fernando Torres, as Chris like said, the story is written, and I'm sure they'll be selling this story in the papers, building up. And Fernando Torres went away to a big club so he could win trophies and all that. Like, and of course, we're desperately hoping it ends up more like a Michael Owen than anything else.
I'll tell you think about this though. The two big signings who were like branded as flops, Torres and Carroll, both scoring the winners. Well, in effect, the deciding goals in the semi-final to get the team into a cup final.
It is very interesting. Now.